issues getting into matches. So we will try and get through everyone. It just may take a little while. I'm going to leave the giveaway open for one final game here, only because we only have 40 people entered. That's usually we get more than that, so I'm going to leave it one final game, and then we will draw for our RP card. If you haven't entered already, make sure that you are following the stream and type workshop in chat.
I'm just muting my mic, so hopefully I am not interrupting anything. I mean, muted the stream, so I can talk shoutcast on that. Hopefully I'm not interrupting anything.
Okay, in the meantime, I'm going to thank our new followers here. Looks like Nathmore, Rock Cheese, Tyrantar, Imenbidu, Delaziest, Brit Powers 122, Hamadwil. Okay, I can't read that. Amenub Chiwaya. Okay, seriously, does no one have names that are in proper English? Friend Jubsinhu, Zamel Hamida, Grupliton, LJI Plondar, and Raiku Kawisa are following. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate the support. I do not appreciate your hard-to-pronounce names. Two new followers here, Rolloman4 and Coachinator. Thank you very much, guys, for your easy-to-pronounce names. I start out confident, and then I start reading them, I'm like, oh fuck. Very nice.
I don't know, does Twitch right justify things? It must.
No, I think it center justifies. I don't know. It always tries to put them in the middle or left, from what I've seen.
It's weird because it seems to be doing it on the right.
Yeah.
In this case. I'm just adding the text with the bell into it.
Okay, nice. I think there might even be a missing field or two. We also need to make sure that donators are all listed there. I'm just ranking them by place rather than money.
Yep.
That way I can update them easier and I don't have to do math. Fair enough. I'm just using it under donation as like this is what donations do, and then just like a list of donations below that.
But if the list was like this big,
Yeah.
it made all the panels go.
Yeah, I know.
So I have to make all the other ones bigger. My space is there.
Okay, so we're just going through picks and bans here. Once we finish picks and bans, we will comment on the team comps they choose, some of the champion choices, ban choices, that sort of thing, as well as offer any basic advice for what we would expect to see from that style of play, given team comps, champions, that sort of thing. Also want to thank all of our donators who make the stream possible. We do an RP giveaway every single Sunday. We do giveaways throughout the week. We're also doing about a $300 League of Legends giveaway on our Tumblr page right now. So if you haven't entered that already, please make sure to. Also, if you are considering donating, I would also mention that we do donator rewards along the lines of one-on-one tutoring, ranked duos, viewer games, all that sort of stuff. Anything we can do to try and thank people who are able to help keep the stream going. It does cost a lot of money to keep this going, so just something, food for thought. Anyways, we're almost done picks and bans here, so we're about to get into this. Sorry for the delays.
Just gonna take a moment here to pimp art I've created for the stream. I'm gonna post a link in stream chat. It'll take you to 5 exclusive prints I have created for this stream. We will be giving them away at some point. We're working out the logistics, but they will be donator rewards, giveaways, all sorts of fun stuff. So if any of it tickles your fancy, I recommend you show up and wait for more details.
And I will link the other art we're giving away. No, it's fine, Canadian Dummy. I'm just mentioning for people. I got keep reminding just so that it's been said. Yeah, unfortunately I had to build a new computer yesterday because mine died, so I'm kind of broke. That is the giveaway that we're doing right now. It is free to enter. You just need to follow our Tumblr page and Twitch page, and then every like, every reblog counts as an entry. We're giving that away, I believe it is February 10th is the draw. A lot of really cool stuff in that prize package. Yeah, we generally have the games uploaded within about 24 hours. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer if my computer dies again, but outside of that, it should be up within 24 hours. We're going to get into picks and bans here. On blue team, we have Evelynn, Kassadin, Fizz banned out. I said it last game, I still don't think Evelynn is worth a ban. I understand why people do it. I understand that she's frustrating, but there's just better bans right now. Some that pop to mind are Shyvana, Teemo, Ziggs to a lesser extent, Kassadin. Kassadin wasn't banned this game. No one picked him, so it's not like it's going to be an issue. But there's just a lot of really strong champions right now. And Evelynn, even before the nerfs, she had a very high ban rate, but her win rate wasn't anything that crazy. It was more frustration than anything else. And then on the purple team, we have Dr. Mundo, Vi, and Nasus banned out. I also don't think Nasus is worth a ban anymore. His nerfs actually hurt him quite a lot. He's still a fine champion. He's still definitely worth playing. But the top laners have definitely made a shift since then. Right now it boils down to the really, really tanky ones, so Mundo, Warwick, and Shyvana being the three that pop to mind. And then we also have Teemo making a resurgence, where he's just really powerful right now. And of course Renekton's still absolute beast mode. So it's just interesting to see their ban choices. On blue team we have what appears to be a support Maokai. That's really odd. My complaint with support Maokai is that he's very, very mana hungry. Also, his poke is not very reliable. So you really only have the option to all-in engage, but unlike a Leona, you don't get the incredibly strong, tanky free stats or the lower mana costs. We then have a Rengar jungle, still a strong pick, but doesn't have his as easy to do triple Q combo. We have a Vayne AD carry, again, strong pick, but less value than he used to be. We're seeing Draven, Jinx, Lucian, all of those be very, very strong picks right now, and all of them do incredibly well versus Vayne, who has that weaker early game. Renekton's still fantastic top laner, I would say one of the top 2 or 3 top laners. Then we have a middle Swain, not Singed. Wow, I'm falling asleep. So yes, we have a middle Swain, very strong champion, very underplayed, but very niche as well. You don't have the burst. It's more of a bruiser mid at that point. So I'm interested to see how they're going to do their damage. I would expect to see Rengar going a little bit more aggressive build, seeing as you aren't going to get as much damage out from the Swain. On the purple team then, we have a Leona support, incredibly strong right now, very contested pick. A Shyvana jungle. We're so used to seeing Shyvana top right now. Her jungle is fine, it's actually quite good, but her ganks are not as strong as you might like. Still a strong champion, scales really, really well, especially if she is able to land some counter engages and stop some dives. Very, very potent there. We then have a Draven AD carry. Really strong pick. I don't like playing Draven, but I will freely admit he's an incredibly strong champion, and he pairs incredibly well with Leona. You have to really look for that level 2 engage. You can almost always land a free kill at that point, if you land that. We have a top lane Jax. Undervalued right now. I think he's going to make a resurgence as these top laners are, as their tankiness is nerfed. Once he gets his core items, Blade of the Ruined King, Trinity Force, that sort of thing, he's going to be incredibly potent and be able to just dominate that enemy team if he's able to get in range and not be instantly killed. Combine that with a Kayle who's going to scale incredibly well and that absolute game-changing ult. I would expect to see that pair up really, really well, whether she decides to ult Draven or decides to ult Jax. That's a lot of DPS coming out from them, and I really like that combo, just how well Purple Team is synergized, whereas I would say Blue Team is just a little bit more scattered in their picks, but both teams have a very strong possibility to snowball and get really, really far because of it. So I'm really interested to see how this game goes out, and I'll switch over to Rekwine and see if she has any general comments about team comps, play strategies, and then maybe we can take a quick look at runes and masteries.
On Purple Team has a lot of really anti-burst tools. So they have Jax's, ability to AoE stun. They have Kayle ult. They have Shyvana. They have Shyvana being a fat dragon in the middle of the team. They have Leona ult. So they have a lot of very, lockdown, shutdown tools. Draven should be able to walk out of a team fight without a single hair disturbed on his head if everyone plays right. And I've been on the receiving end of Champ of For's Dragon, and that's a really scary thought. So good luck to Blue Team. Blue Team is also pretty tanky. They don't have the exact same peel power, but they should be able to keep Vayne fairly safe. If this gets into late game, we may see Vayne just rolling around one-shotting everything. But the support at Maokai, I am skeptical of. I really hope I'm proved wrong, because Maokai is a cool champion. I want to see more of him. So I'm really hoping we see some really cool tree plays in bot lane.
I was versus a Maokai in my placement games yesterday, and I was playing Victor. It was the most frustrating thing ever. Oh my god, do I hate Maokai. A good Maokai player is terrifying. He's so undervalued right now, but for a reason. He is very blue reliant, he does have mana issues, and if he falls behind he has some problems. But as far as his kit is concerned, it's pretty terrifying what he can do. Also, I just want to thank, we did get a $5 donation. I really do appreciate that. If you wouldn't mind sending me a Twitch message with your summoner name, I can always add you and we can get you into some viewer games later. We'll oftentimes do those at the end of these workshops as well as throughout the week.
It must be kind of awkward when Shyvana's hanging around Demacia and she sees Dragon Slayer Vayne. That must lead to some really awkward conversations.
Or very angry sex.
Oh yeah, I have a 80 chapter fan fiction just about that exact scenario, so I'm glad you mentioned that.
Oh, we all do. I was actually looking through the Tumblr League of Legends tag it was earlier this morning, and apparently it's all, I think it was Wukong Rengar fan art, and I was just like, no, please stop, I don't want to see this.
The thing is, those people are like, oh, it's just a joke. It's so funny. I'm drawing Rengar and, Renekton having hot sex. What a huge joke. But, dude, you've spent 20 hours on that art. What are you, that's not a joke anymore. That's not a punchline. That's not funny. That's... What are you doing?
Interesting. Swain has opted to go for a Sapphire Crystal start. Versus a Kayle, I would expect Kayle to absolutely bully him out because of that choice. He's not going to have the potions or the sustain early to really do much. I would have expected to see a Doran's Ring start, or possibly even a Doran's Shield if he wanted to play incredibly passive, because most of the damage coming out from the Kayle is going to be the auto attack harass from the ranged setup.
I would think that Swain is banking on getting an early catalyst for his Rod of Ages. And that's quite a gamble. That's a good 1,000 gold investment to upgrade the Sapphire Crystal. And
well,
his
he definitely
auto
will be rushing a
sucks.
Rod
He
of
has no wave
Ages,
clear.
but it concerns me because you're not going to be able to survive lane. Or if you are, that's more of a skill difference rather than item choice. I just think it's very, very risky for him to do that. I would also comment that it looks like Maokai has started with Pink Ward. I really like Pink Ward starts. I have transitioned over to Doran's Shield, but with the kill potential they have bot lane, he's opted to go more for a passive setup on that Maokai. So I do like that ward. It's just, I'm interested to see how this is going to go.
No invasions from other team. Looks like a pretty standard start. Both junglers are grabbing their red.
Kayle's staying really long for this leash, as is Swain. Generally, just auto-attack once or twice and then leave. It's not worth missing minions and losing your level 2 advantage. Because as most mid laners will know, your level 2 is a really good time to set the pace of the lane, where you say, okay, I have level 2, you don't. I land my combo, there's half your health gone. I'm now up a health potion, or I'm now up 2 health potions. That's a pretty significant thing if you leverage it to a further advantage.
Especially with the Shyvana. Shyvana does not need a strong leash. She can just do her work herself.
And it's not like she needs the health for ganks, because Shyvana doesn't really gank unless you're diving. Jax did opt to go for Cloth 5 rather than a Doran's Shield. I'm not sure why people do that these days. I think it's because he really wants the potions, but Doran's Shield's going to serve you better in that lane, I feel. He is then going aggressive onto him. He doesn't have any level advantage. I think he's just trying to leverage the potion advantage. And versus a Doran's Shield, I don't think that's going to work that well for you. You kind of need to farm up with Jax and play a little bit safe until you get your core items. Unless, of course, they make a misplay and you have a significant chance to just counter-engage.
Here's a little bronze scrub question. Does Renekton have any innate sustain in his kit?
A lot.
Okay, so trying to get a potion advantage might not be the best idea when they have innate sustain.
Leona engaging here. They're not going to get the... Or they might actually get the kill. No, they get the barrier out. Great job stopping Draven there. Stopped him in the turret, and now they've traded barriers on both AD carries, and they're both incredibly low. I think that might have been played a little bit better from Purple Team. I think they could have got that kill onto Vayne if they played it just a little bit more smoothly on their engage.
Vayne is without barrier, and against Draven Leona, that's a dangerous situation for her. But this Maokai is doing work. That route was really excellent.
It's also worth noting, though, that because of the pink ward start he did, he has 5 potions. So he can really just absorb damage and zone for Vayne without having to worry too much.
Jax gets first blood with assist from Shyvana up top. Jax is a pretty scary champion, especially at lower levels, because at a certain point, he's just Jax. He hits his full damage potential, and I don't think there's much you can do to stop him.
I'm going to rewind and
Kayle
watch
gets
this
a kill
Kayle
on
kill. I
Swain.
think this is exactly what I mentioned, where he started Sapphire Crystal, he doesn't have any sustain left. He has no potions, and he's staying with really low health. He lands a combo, but at that point, Kayle's just going to turn around and kill you. Swain does not do good damage. His damage is there, but it's very long-term damage. It's poke, it's zoning, it's not burst.
I feel like a lot of people really underestimate Kayle's damage because it's not an all-in burst 100 to 0. In fact, it kind of tickles until you realize there's no way you can get away from her and the damage isn't going down any. Leona misses an E on Vayne. Champivore is just doing a great job of catching his axes and farming. He has yet to really translate into that kill, but the lane is young yet.
Yeah, now there is a still kill opportunity here because both AD carries are down that barrier, and they're both back to full health. So I'm interested to see if they're going to try and go aggressive. I would expect that aggression, obviously, to come from the Draven Leona. As Leona, I would be standing a little bit further forward and just bullying them, saying, yeah, you can't get to the CS. If you do, I will just auto-attack Q you, and then I can E to follow up. I don't need to lead with Q. Engage coming in here from the tree.
We couldn't, Vayne could not get a condemn onto Draven, which I think was Maokai's intent, for a snare into the condemn. If that had happened, that would have been a 100% kill, but
They still come
Vayne
out
was
ahead
a
in
little
that
bit
trade,
behind.
though.
Oh yeah, absolutely, it's just not a kill, which is fine. Not everything needs to be a kill.
Yes, Maokai does need to grow up to be a strong tree. Rengar trying to come top lane. I'm not sure why, because he's really pushed on Renekton. I think he's trying to do like a bush bait, like a lane gank, but he's so pushed on Renekton that it's not going to actually do anything. And yeah, as you mentioned about sustain on Renekton, his sweep is significant sustain. It is about 100 damage, and it heals for 5% of damage delta as health to minions and 20% versus champions. 2v2 coming in top lane, I would expect Purple Team to definitely win that, because they do just have so much more damage from Jax Shyvana. Rengar, he's very bursty, but his actual DPS is nothing that fantastic early game.
When they approached Shyvana in the bush, if that was a Nocturne jungle, or like the Diana jungle we saw early game, that would have been a kill. But Shyvana just stands there and takes it, and is dishing out lots of damage of her own. Draven gets a kill on bot lane, let's see if he can make it a double. No, he won't be able to. Maokai probably could have not flashed there and gone away, but it's always better to be safe than sorry. So purple team does have a substantial advantage at this point.
2,000 gold and 4 kills by 7 or 8 minutes is nothing to frown about.
Fun fact, Leona ult actually makes Zyra and her plants get bigger. All of Leona's spells. Maokai is immune to it, probably because he's too big and strong.
Now I really want to do like a Leona Zyra bot lane. That would be so much fun.
Leona is the best for gimmick lanes like J4 Leona, Lux Leona, Leona Zyra.
I believe my favorite was Leona and AP Twisted Fate.
That's kind of incredible.
Looks like they're just sort of standing around blue here. I'm not sure what Shyvana is doing. Maybe she's waiting and trying to give it over to Kayle. But yeah, okay, Kayle is coming now, so they're going to start it. Nope, Kayle's going to go back instead. That's just some misplay. If she doesn't want it, just take it yourself and move on. There's no reason to leave it up for very long. Ace of Blades 86 and Salad Kun are now following. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate the support.
It's really excellent to see players both new and old show up for the workshops, because this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen a streamer do. So very cool to see new people, and also old faces.
Hey, I resent that. The coolest thing you've ever seen is my face. You know that. Jack's going to chase down Renekton top lane. It looks like that's definitely going to be a kill. No! He flashes, starts his auto attack, and then cancels it. Ignite still does pick it up, but that was just a little bit off by Jax. He issued the move command before the auto attack had finished, and therefore wasn't able to immediately get the kill.
Rengar is diving. Leona drops his stun. Draven flashes out and stand aside. So it looks like he escapes from what looks like certain death.
Yeah, 18 health left on Draven there. Looks like they may try and set up a dragon. That would actually be a really good idea. They have 4 people on that side of the map. No, looks like they're just going to go back to it. Shyvana actually stealing away the blue buff here. That's actually a really big deal because Swain has so many mana issues. He has finished his Catalyst, but he's half the CS of Kayle at this point, and not having blue means he's just going to fall further and further behind.
Kayle comes and picks up blue, so Swain is going to be in a really tight spot here. Swain can't even roam too well because every other lane is ahead. If this was a different game, he might be able to go bot, pick up a couple kills, maybe catch up. He really can't do that here.
Top lane was a little bit of miscommunication. Shyvana came up and tried to go on to Renekton, and Jax didn't immediately follow. The turret is down top lane, so if they had gone in together, they would have been able to just chase him down. But in this case, not so much. Rengar is coming up, but I would hope they would have learned their lesson by now that you don't want to 2v2 that. If Swain was here, then yeah, totally 3v2 them, but right now, not so much.
Renekton's going in alone. Vayne gets a kill on Draven bot. We missed that because of jungle and top to electric boogaloo going up on top. Rengar comes around too late. He might have been able to pick up a kill, but he was kind of dancing around at the edge of the fight, waiting for something to happen. And then by the time something did happen, he was too far away. So it was a really tragic miscommunication on both Renekton and Rengar's part.
Honestly, if I was Renekton, he should not have fought there. He needs to farm back into this, and he needs to finish a core item. Whether he opts for Sunfire Cape, whether he opts for something else, that's up to him. Swain's staying way too low here. Kayle could have essentially flash auto ignite there and got the kill. But as far as Kayle's concerned, it's not even worth the pressure at this point. You may as well just let him go back and push in the turret.
I've been in Swain's position, and I can say there is anxiety where you have to go. You feel like if I go back again, I'm gonna lose so much more XP. I'm gonna lose so much more gold. I should just stay and pick up, a few minion kills, try to catch up a little. That's never worth it because it's a really bad impulse to try to stay longer than you should. Just go back, heal up, do what you can to get back in the game. Don't stick around.
Purple team goes for Dragon. Vayne does try and come in. but a fantastic tumble away saves her from getting hit by the Leona ult. And so that's going to go over to purple team. I don't think they're going to be able to turn anything in bot lane. It looks like they were going to try and come in 3v1 Vayne, but that's just not going to be the case here. The Leona ult is already down. Draven doesn't get condemned, so again, no real aggression possible from either team there. Kayle is sneaking around though, so they could try and set up a dive here with the Kayle ult.
Kayle sees Swain and just decides to pick up a kill from that.
Red buff is up.
Despite the difference between farm and experience, Swain has only died once, so he's not a worthless champion where he'll only give 50 gold or whatever. It's still totally worth Kayle's time to pick up a kill if she can on him.
Agreed. Yeah, I apologize, guys. I'm not sure why Nightbot isn't working for the spammers. I wonder if they're going to give this... Yeah, they're giving red over to Kayle, so that's going to increase her kill potential even more. You already can't run from a Kayle, so that extra true damage, that extra burn, that extra slow is pretty strong on her.
Kayle is really snowbally, so with getting buffs from Shyvana, getting all this free farm in mid, she's going to be very scary later on.
This Jax is really, really far ahead now. He almost has his Blade of the Ruin King done. He's 3-0-1, and he is up about 20-25 CS on this Renekton. So good job snowballing this lane. Okay, 4v2 coming down bot lane. That's going to be a completely free double kill. I don't expect anyone to have an issue here. Worst case scenario, Kayle will just ult whoever's tanking the turret, and they'll be able to just walk away. And instead she shields. Leona didn't quite have to flash. They're going to take down this turret. Rengar is going to try and come and hold it, but if they catch him out, he's going to walk over ward here, but he's going to be invisible while he does it. If he tries to jump in, I would expect Kayle to... No, he ended up flashing and doing nothing with it.
Rengar went in and at the last moment thought better of it and extracted himself from the situation.
He was actually looking for Leona
in.
because Leona was very, very low health. He's then caught out of position and they can just turn onto him at that point and pick up yet another free kill. Good job here on Renekton coming mid and just saying, okay, I need to push this in. I need to pick up whatever farm I can and get relevant again. Top's a little bit too dangerous for him until it pushes back towards him, so he's going to push into this turret, maybe get a little bit of damage on the turret, and then just back out and go back to top.
Right, purple team is just so mobile that, you know, the blue mid and top laners are in a bit of a pickle. If they roam, they will be followed, and that is quite problematic for them right now.
Agreed, and as far as purple team's concerned, we mentioned this in the pregame, where their team comp is phenomenal for team fighting as well as for assassination and jungle fights. They have no real weakness on their team comp besides, oh, what if they hard engage onto us and all of our ults are down? Like, they have so many tools. They have hard engage, they have dueling potential, they have disengage. It's just a really, really solid comp, whereas the other team is so reliant on snowballing that when they're this far behind, they're not going to have many ways to get back into the game.
Vayne playing very well here. She's moving, she's tumbling, she's dodging the Draven ult. Leona made a really valiant attempt to peel there, and it just wasn't enough. This Vayne has really fantastic mechanics. And Maokai, of course, made a really good effort to, you know, lock down Draven and keep his carry safe in turn. So good job to both teams there.
Great condemn and the tumble coming out from Vayne here. Just tumbling back around, trying to get some kills on there. She is going to go down, but oh, Maokai stunned right before he can land the auto attack onto Shyvana. So fantastic job there. A lot of that was just a little bit of luck from purple team, as well as, of course, their giant gold advantage at this point. They are 10k up and 4 towers up. So at this point, it is pretty one-handed. We're just going to try and see how blue team responds to this and how they try and get back into the game. Unfortunately, their team comp, though, just is not very good for recovering from this kind of a deficit.
Vayne is the great hope of blue team right now, and with the small nerfs over time to her, I'm not sure if she's capable of this insane hyper carry required right now.
And they also don't really have the team comp to defend her. They have Swain, who he has a slow and he has a binding, but they're very unreliable in terms of how well they're able to peel for someone. They have the Maokai, who puts himself in dangerous positions to try and peel, and have the Renekton. So it's not like they have a really hard disengage if purple team tries to dive in on their back line.
I think Maokai could have been an excellent support pick against Sona or Soraka. Against the Leona, kind of outclassed, unfortunately.
Agreed, yes. And we have seen a couple times now just the mana issues he has. Every time there is a fight, he is out of mana. Good Condemn coming in from Vayne. She is going to be able to pick this up, it looks like.
Draven almost escaped, and then Rengar right to the face, unfortunately. This Leona is dropping excellent ults to defend her carry, though. She's really doing the job of peeling quite well.
Really good choice there as well, saying we have the numbers, let's take Dragon, try and get gold back towards us, and deny that gold from the enemy team. They picked up the 2 kills, that's fantastic. They picked up the Dragon, that's even better. They did actually just close that gold lead by almost 2k. At this point, though, it is boiling down to every lane is losing in CS. They're getting out CS, they're getting out killed, they're getting out pushed, they're getting out objectived. So they need to get some map vision, I would say, which they have some decent map vision bot lane, but not so much top. And they need to see people moving between lanes and collapse onto them to essentially just improve and try and catch them out.
Right now, it feels like blue is in a position where all they can do is respond to purple's plays, and that's not a good position to be in, where you're constantly on the tips of your toes, reacting.
They're diving onto this Rengar, and Rengar is going to drop really quickly, it looks like. They're just so tanky on the Shyvana and the Jax right now that there's just not much they can do to defend alone. And this is what I said. They don't have very strong peel. They can stun one target. They can slow a one target. But they don't have that pushing away. They don't have that high-level AoE CC.
Right now, we can see Draven is dishing out excellent damage. When somebody jumps onto him, though, he is in trouble. So purple team has so many tools to protect him. As soon as it's a 5-on-5, he should be able to just dish out damage from afar safely.
Looks like they're going to give red buff over to Vayne, probably. I would hope she would take that before she goes lane, because in any sort of a duel, she is going to need it. Okay, maybe not then.
She wants that farm instead because she knows she's behind in CS, but the red might have given her more tangible advantage.
The wave was pushing, so she might have lost like 2 or 3 CS by the time she got there. I think they could have bursted it very, very quickly and efficiently. She is getting caught out a little bit, but oh, she opts to condemn the Leona instead of the Draven. It doesn't matter though, because this is some fantastic damage coming out.
Vayne is very smart in knowing who to hit, when to hit them, and when to tumble. I'm really impressed with her mechanics right now. You don't see a lot of Vaynes these days, but she's really proving that Vayne is still the best hyper carry.
Unfortunately, Kayle shows up, and that's going to be a triple over for her. Uh-oh, never mind. Dragon takes it. Mean dragon lady.
Swain is waddling away. Shyvana is faster than him, but she doesn't have tools to lock him down, so he will escape. Oh, but there's Jax.
Yeah,
Never
Jax is
mind.
in behind. They're going to be able to just dive this down. Case scenario, Kayle will just ult and be done with it. She doesn't seem to want to ult him. Oh, never mind. It was on like 2 seconds of cooldown. It looked like it was up on my screen.
Swain is setting on just a catalyst. He has the Spirit Visage, or he's working towards Spirit Visage, which is not a bad choice. but the Rod of Ages becomes mathematically irrelevant after a certain point in the game. It's sort of all or nothing when you choose to rush it, unfortunately.
And you do need to finish it by about 14 or 15 minutes, so it's far too late to try and build a Rod of Ages at this point, and so instead he's building toward defenses, which is fine, but we need damage coming out from somewhere on the team. And at this point, yes, Vayne is your hope, but one damage source, one threat versus a team that can dive and protect this well is pretty darn risky. They're diving back onto Renekton with the Leona stuns. Swain in there getting some decent tankiness, but oh. Vayne gonna go down, it looks like. Oh, double kill actually. We'll just kill each other. Nice.
Leona is just hitting really excellent E's all game long. She knows the range, she knows the hitbox. She's missing very few.
Yeah, really good dueling of Vayne versus Kayle. Kayle didn't ult herself though, so she should have been at no risk whatsoever. Kayle ult is like a 40 or 50 second cooldown at this point. Yeah, 49.69 seconds on Kayle ult right now. She could have just ulted herself, stayed at almost full health, and still got the kill onto Vayne.
Blue loses their blue again. Shyvana just walks up and takes it. And now it looks like they're going for Dragon.
Yeah, we mentioned that earlier that Shyvana does not have very strong ganks, but her counter jungling is phenomenal, and she's been pulling it off this game, where just constantly counter jungling, showing up for turret dive, showing up for wherever she needs to be, essentially. Looks like they do have the timer on Dragon. It is up in 45 seconds. They're a bit early, though, so I'm not sure if they're just knowing it's up soon and not having the exact timing, or if they're just trying to get it cleared early and then bait a fight. Both are valid options.
I wonder...
Vayne is bot lane, so this could be a very easy team fight for Purple.
Purple also heavily warded the jungle, so it's possible they were fine with just sitting for 40 seconds at Dragon, knowing that as soon as Blue walked up and tried to contest it, it was an easy kill.
And we do have 2 free kills going over. Rengar tries to jump in, and they're just going to constantly CC him now and pick that up. At this point, there's no one to contest Dragon. They could even Baron. I would actually suggest Purple Team do a Baron at this point, if they can pick off this Vayne. Kayle needs to be ulting herself. Good job. They're going to get that kill. They're going to kill Maokai. At this point, Jax is going to take top inhib, so I would say the other 4 should do Baron.
Looks like they're going for Dragon instead. And mid turret.
Yeah, they can double inhib. That's a perfectly valid choice. I was only saying Baron, though, because Vayne and Maokai are both about 15 seconds on respawn, or about 20 seconds at that point. They could have made it to Baron and shredded it very, very quickly with Draven and Kayle's damage, and there wasn't any real risk. They were still going to get the inhib, most likely, from Jax, but doing a double inhib and a Dragon, that's perfectly valid as well. So no real judgment there. They did a great job making that choice.
Also, very smart of Shyvana just to walk off and take Dragon. She knew she wouldn't be contested. She knew that she didn't need to help push. So she just went off and did what Shyvana does.
Jax goes in 1v4. Team isn't really there to follow up. That's just a little bit too much aggression from him, and he's going to die as a result. Hey, Nightbot is back. Thank you for banning the scrubs. I'm pretty sure they shouldn't be spam bots. They should just be scrub bots.
Vayne is really doing work here. It's just not enough, unfortunately. Middle turret is going to go down. Second turret of the game for Purple Team. Or Blue Team, sorry.
Yeah, Blue Team needs to back out here. They know that they're regrouped. They cannot really fight that. Kayle has her Deathfire Grasp, Nashers, and Lichbane done. There's nothing they can really do to stop them. Looks like he's actually going towards probably Gunblade. I would have gone for a Death Cap over Gunblade because the mixed damage just doesn't scale as well. You're not going to have as much burst. But it's a fine item. I just don't like it.
The active slow is fine. It's just a little bit redundant with their current team comp.
Sorry, I'm talking about Grinsu, not Gunblade. I apologize.
Oh, my bad.
Because he built a pickaxe. Team fight coming in here. Unfortunately, though, Purple Team just so far ahead. It looks like they're just going to be able to kill everyone here. Vayne, great positioning, surviving the fight, but Leona just able to chase her out, and in the meantime, Draven's going to clean up. And now it's 3v1 onto Vayne. They land the stun. Vayne probably going to pick up that kill onto Leona.
Right, I feel like we could write an epic, play about this Vayne's efforts. She is just amazing at Vayne mechanics, amazing at ATC mechanics. It's unfortunate that it's not enough.
Yeah, she has done very, very well in surviving and outputting consistent DPS. Unfortunately, though, just the team comp isn't suited to a Vayne, and because all of the lanes lost, there's no real way for her to get back into the game now. They're just too far behind. They are going to be able to stop this Jax probably before the game ends, so they're going to stall it a little bit longer, but I would expect to see the next push ending this game. In the meantime, Draven going to take... Oh, Draven might actually try and backdoor.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
He walked up, realized it wasn't worth it, took the inhib instead. Smart choice.
Yeah, unfortunately, he hesitated too long, so he's not going to get that inhib. If I were him, I would have gone right for inhib, cleared that out, and then they could take a free Baron.
Looks like purple team is gearing up for Baron right now, and at this point it might not be necessary to take it, but it's a fine choice.
It's zero risk. They have vision of where the enemy team is, and they want to end the game now. So why not take Baron? You're not even going to lose any real health to the thing. And then just go and mop up the enemy base.
He has slain Baron Nashor.
Baron goes down without a fight, and it looks like they're just going to push us 5 to win it.
Blue team's inhibitor is respawning soon.
Yeah, Jax has got to essentially hyper carry status at the moment. In a duel versus him and Vayne, he's actually going to be able to shut down Vayne if he plays properly, because he has Blade of the Ruin King, he has his stun, he has his leap. They're not really going to be able to escape him. At the very least, he's going to be able to zone and put a significant damage threat onto that Vayne. At this point, Rengar cloaked. I'm not sure. Yeah, he's going to try and go on to Draven, but he just doesn't have the damage, and then the Kayle ult comes out to just keep him perfectly safe. Jax is going to go down, though. He's just a little bit too aggressive. He's not staying with his team and focusing the targets they are. At this point, though, they can just turn on and end the game. So much burst
Kayle
from
gets a
this Kayle.
triple, and the Nexus goes down.
Okay, so I'm going to have you go over item builds and general play-by-play there. And in the meantime, I will have Brian invite me for the next game, please.
Sure. So, Vayne's build, Blade of the Ruin King, Phantom Dancer, Last Whisper, standard build. It did everything she needed it to do. It gave her positioning freedom, it gave her damage, the slow, and so on. Rengar, looks like he sold all of his items. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Maokai, he has Targon's Brace, he has Boots of Mobility, Sightstone, Sunfire Cape. Fine items, they really helped. He had the task of keeping Vayne safe. All of those items helped him do that. So those good choices on his part. Renekton again has a pretty standard top build, lots of defenses, lots of armor. As he was being pushed around by Jax all game, that was a pretty smart choice. It does mean he doesn't get to pour much damage out, but Renekton's late game role isn't so much damage as peel and diving, so that's alright. Swain has the Catalyst, which we mentioned earlier. You need a Rod of Ages by 14 or 15 minutes, or it's just not worth it mathematically. So you rush to the Catalyst, started with a mana crystal. So he was really going for that early Catalyst, early Rod, and then Kaylee just shoved him around so hard in lane that he had to go for the Spirit Visage, which made the early Catalyst a poor choice. He might have been able to turn that into a Banshee Sail. I'm not sure if that item path is still in the game. But Swain needed to be a damage source for blue team, and he just couldn't pull it out with his items, with his farm. Purple team, we have Draven with the Bloodthirster, Last Whisper working towards an eye edge. Pretty standard. He didn't have to worry about positioning. He doesn't need a Shiv or a Guardian Angel. He just needed damage, so he was smart, took care of all that. Shyvana has Ancient Golem, Sunfire, Randuin, Spirit Visage again. She just needed to be tanky, she needed to be fat, she needed to be able to go into the enemy jungle and take their stuff. Leona has pretty standard items. She went for the Nomad's Medallion instead of the Ancient Coin, which is a fair choice. I mean, the Medallion instead of Targon's Brace, which is a fair choice. The AoE's movement is very strong, especially when she has Mobo Boots, and her team had all those stuns and lockdowns. Jax has Triforce, Bork, working towards Warmogs, very good choices, allowed him to dive, allowed him to push, allowed him to be strong and relevant all game. Kaylee just went hyper carry. She has Nashor's, Deathfire, Lichbane was working towards Ginsu, so very good choices, allowed her to be just pour out the damage.